Go.
Yeah.
Welcome, everybody, to this episode of Disappointment Inspired. We're going to be joined by some students possibly throughout the show, but we have the wonderful, talented Amanda Duncan here with us. And let's do our little intro for everyone that will bring it all together. Oh, look at that. And I messed up from the start. There we go.
Yay, disappointment already.
Yes. And let me hit, what happened? There was a really cool video that I'm trying to show you guys, and it's not coming up.
Is it in there? Do you have to press play?
No, you're not supposed to. You're just supposed to on the click. It's supposed to, wait. Look at that.
If the shoe doesn't fit any better.
I probably at this point should stop the recording, but this is a show about disappointment.
Yeah,
so
I'm really okay with this.
We're okay with this. This is it's a really cool video though, and I do want you guys to see it. So let me do this. Let me search for it. And maybe I should. Man, it's such a bummer because these videos, they've been so much fun to do. Honestly, like I travel around a lot, and I've been able to film in different places these little promos. Here we go. It's Amanda Duncan's PowerPoint. Now let's try this again. It's gonna work, people.
It feels anticlimactic right now, but it's really gonna work out.
Oh, it's gonna be worth the journey. All right, here we go. Let's try again. Take it away. No. I'm crumbling.
The best part is that there's nobody in this call right now to witness it. So it's just so funny.
It's just us. It's just us dealing with the disappointment. But where the heck can I get this to you? I know what I'm going to do. I'm not giving up, Amanda. This is called being perseverant, though, right?
Yes.
You have to persist in life. Now, Amanda has had a long career in music and also video work, and so she's used to a lot of ups and downs, right? And things working, things not working. I think here we go. I have the video. I'm going to pause it. I'm going to share this, and then we're doing it. Ready? Ready? Here we go. Can you see this first of all, Amanda? Can you see my face?
I see. Ooh, yes, I see it.
So let's start that over. Here we go. Welcome to this episode of Disappointment Inspired. We have musician Amanda Duncan today. She's an expert in not just writing music and performing, but creating music videos. Music to me, not like nature in springtime. And behind me, you have coastal Maine in spring. Flowers are blooming, the birds are out. It just makes you feel great, just like Amanda. Enjoy this episode of Disappointment Inspired. Wow, come on, that was worth it, right, Amanda?
That was totally worth it. I needed to see that shot of Maine in the spring.
It took me less time to get to Maine than to play that clip. But it was worth the journey.
I have tears. I'm laughing kind of hard.
See, what's so great about disappointment is like it builds the anticipation. And so there's always something good that can come out of it, whether it's a laugh or whatever. So and here we are. Last few times we had a great group of students who all wanted to talk about music, and I don't know what happened to them. They may join us intermittently on this call, but we have you here to tell us a little bit about your career, your journey. Just share with this audience of high school age students will be watching this, what you do.
I started playing guitar when I was 17. I'm 42 now, not ashamed of my age at all. So I started playing guitar because I wanted to be able to play. I wanted to be able to sing, not to a karaoke machine. And I had a karaoke machine my entire childhood. So that was like how I was brought up. I did some really rocking things with karaoke, but I really wanted to kind of have my own vehicle to play music. And I was thinking, okay, well, I'll start playing guitar. So I taught myself, some of the basic chords, and then I would get together with some friends and I got a little bit better. And then I wrote some really terrible songs for a long time because that's how, you start out. And then when I was in college, I was playing a lot of the open mics there, and it started to feel like I was onto something. I was writing better songs. And then when I graduated college, I was still going to open mics. And then there was a point in time when I wrote this one song where I said to myself, oh, like this is it. This is what I want to do and need to do. And I always knew I wanted to be in entertainment, but I really wasn't sure what that was going to be. And then pretty much since then, I've just been writing songs and learning how to record because I'm a big audio and tech geek. So I love audio recording and I love filming. So all these things kind of tie into my music career, which has been really great. And then I toured for a long time. And now I'm just mostly doing well because mostly a lot of people have not been able to travel that much, but I am definitely looking forward to having a summer full of shows. And I've been releasing music this whole past year, and I made a music video, and I'm going to be making some more music videos. And I think I just love creating. So it doesn't even matter what it has to do with. I just love songwriting and the recording process because that's also creative, and then video. So it all, like I said, it all ties into being the singer-songwriter that I am.
So take us to the very beginning. The students watching this may wonder, like, what comes first? Is it your desire to play an instrument, or is it lyrics that come into your head? Like, how do you get started on, or that first step? Is it, the fascination with recording yourself and then you figure out how to make it sound cool, or what?
I think every songwriter is different, right? I think just in any kind of creative world, every person does their own thing. For me, it's always a melody. And I know other friends, sometimes it's a lyrical concept, but for me, a lot of times I'll come up with I'll be in the shower, and that's like my time where, because there's no like phone or computer in there, which would be weird. I'm sure some people out there have that. But I don't. And so it's where my head is clear and I can think of all these ideas. So a lot of times I'm like jumping out of the shower to sing like a voice memo. I even come up, like, I'm at the point in my life where I'm so melodic that I come up with melodies in my sleep, in my dreams, and I'll have to wake up and record them. Actually, it happened the other night. But yeah, it's usually a melody idea that I think is a really cool, catchy hook. And then a lot of times what's really hard about that is getting the puzzle pieces of lyrics. It's like it's a hard puzzle to fill in all that to fit the melody. So yeah, but I think that's why my songs are probably more catchy than maybe somebody who only concentrates on lyrics.
Can you give us an example of a song that came to you very quickly, where it was like within a few minutes you had the melody, the flow just happen fast?
Well, actually, one of the first songs that I wrote in college, it was called Ferris Wheel. Now, for me at this point, I feel like that song is not a well-crafted song. It's kind of, the structure of it is kind of weird, but I wrote that song in 15 minutes. And then during the college days when I was playing at the open mics or you know, with anybody in like the dorm or whatever, that was always like the hit song that I would play. That was like my Britney Spears Hit Me One More Time, you know. Well, I mean, I know most everybody watching this is probably born, you know, a million years after Britney Spears came out with that song, but everybody knows the Hit Me Baby One More Time song. So yeah, what was the question?
I was an example of a song that came to you quickly.
Yeah. So that song came pretty quickly. Now I'm a little bit more, unless I'm doing a songwriting exercise, which sometimes you just do that to try to clear out the cobwebs and make sure that you're staying like a well-oiled songwriting machine. You want to make sure that you're just keeping the muscle alive. But you know, usually I'm pretty particular where I take the time to, if I'm working on a song that I feel like is going to be presented out into the real world, I'll probably take the time to craft and say, okay, like this is the verse, or you know, I feel like this pre-chorus in here needs to be needs to go up high instead of low. Like, so like just really like analyzing it now that I've been writing songs for a long time.
Mm-hmm. Can you give us an example of a lyric? I'm pulling you to
so like
something,
the lyric
a lyric
world
that got you started, like maybe even a thought that like something that kept going over your head, and you're like, oh, this could be a song.
Oof. Well, I'll use an example right now of a song that I have in my head. So it's still not completely written. I don't have all the parts melodically, but I keep singing the lyrics. That's why I'm keeping it on the lighter, sunny side. So and it's just because like everything's so heavy now, and there's some people that I don't want to have discussions with. I'm sorry if my internet's breaking up a little bit.
No, it's fine.
Okay. So I don't feel like having conversations about certain things with certain people. So it's more of like, hey, you want to talk about these things? But guess what? I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to keep on the lighter sunny side. But the lyrics are very, for the verse so far, it's like, oh, like, sure, you want to bring up all this stuff. Sure. But you don't know this, but I'm not going to talk to you about it. I'm basically going to slide under the radar and not really say what, you know, I'm not going to engage. Because, you know, some people just really want you to engage in those things. So I keep thinking, but I've had that. That's why I'm keeping it on the lighter sunny side. That like ends the chorus. It's like, oh, that's why I'm keeping it on the lighter sunny side. So
I love that. I mean, my brain immediately went to a funny kind of music video where you're trying to sing this song and people, you know, throw out, as I used to call it when I had little kids, like really little kids, when my kids were like newborns, I felt like nobody could have a heavy conversation around me because the kids would always do something like within a few seconds, they'd be breaking stuff and screaming. Right. And so for fun, one day to prove this to my wife, we went over to see her grandparents who loved, especially her grandfather, loved mixing it up with politics. Right. And like all you had to do is say one thing and it would just blow up. But I was like, I want to prove to you that we can't sustain a conversation about politics around these kids. So literally it would be like pulling a grenade. It'd be like, oh yeah, what do you think about Obama? And then like he would get started and the kids would do something. I'm like, see, he lasted 15 seconds. That's all he could last. So I love the idea that your song goes the other way, where it's like, you're, you know, coming along, singing your song. And then someone comes up to you and tries to like talk about Ukraine and Will Smith and like, but you're like,
yeah. I mean, over time, I've just learned to, you know, engage. I'm a very proactive person. I try to be proactive. So anytime really negative things happen in the world, I don't go to engage and be mad about it. I just really try to find a way of, okay, I'm one person. How can I, Amanda Duncan, find a way, just me, myself, not really asking too much of help of other people. How can I make this better? Even if it's just an inch, you know? So that's part of that, where it's like, I don't need to engage, but I'm going to be doing my own thing to make the world better. So.
No, I like that. I like it a lot. And your music has that feel to it. It's an upbeat thing and your brain responds to upbeat music.
Yeah. I
for
think that
sure.
a lot of my tunes, the way I try to write them is that if someone had to be forced to listen to it, like just a singular song, just a song, they would go, okay, I can sit through this. You know?
I do find it funny that my kids now 12 and 9, like I'll play a song for them that I think is amazing, especially my
Yeah.
daughter. And like she will find it to be like, no, like you get that. Like there was a song from the 70s. Oh boy, I'm gonna right now. It had no words in it. And I think the song was like Feel So Good or something, or Feeling Good. It's like on Yacht Rock. Like it's way back. Is this ringing a bell at all? Like Feel So Good.
Well, Joanna, my partner, listens to Yacht Rock constantly. So I really should. I've listened to enough Michael McDonald to sink a ship.
Here it is. I
sink
found
a
it.
yacht.
So Chuck Mangione sings this song, and I'll play it a little bit for you. So you'll recognize it. This is the original. Yes. But yeah. The remix is better. Like the remix was the faster one. Not that the audience needs to hear this, but like no faster way to lose high school students than playing 70s
Yacht Rock. Yeah.
Yacht Rock. But the thing that I find so interesting is that my daughter was like pushing back against this calming song. Like it's such a pleasant song and it's titled Feels So Good, right? But she's so annoyed by it. Music is a very specific taste. But yet musicians are all sort of skilled in a similar process, is my point, right? I mean, like, regardless of the type of music, I think you probably go through a similar thing where you have this kernel of an idea, and then you probably, if it's anything like comedy, you got to work it, right? You're working it, it's growing into something, and then you've got it established, and you're like, okay, now I think it's ready to put out in front of people. And then you do. And how does a musician, though, know if it's good right away? Like a comedian, the joke worked, right? The audience,
right?
Yeah. I got it. That doesn't always work out. But for a musician, how do you know that the audience is really feeling it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same thing if the audience has a reaction, or if. I mean, a lot of times I feel like I can even tell at this point, because I've been writing songs long enough and performing long enough, that if I have this song stuck in my head frequently, I know that it's going to be successful in some way, shape, or form. So whether it's the recording of it or, in front of other people. I also, it's in the end, it's a lot of pressure to kind of to write a song to make sure that everybody loves it, right? Sometimes I'm creating just to create sometimes. And if I feel like it's good enough to, be shown to the world, I'll show it. And most of the time I do, there's not a ton of songs that I write where it's like, oh my goodness, like, unless it's a very specific songwriting exercise, because I have friends who do songwriting workshops, and you'll do like a 2-hour workshop where you have to write a song, and maybe not an entire song, maybe it's just like a verse and a pre-chorus and a chorus, where you have to use a very specific line or a couple words. Like, these are words you have to incorporate. So sometimes those are like not always what I want to share with the world, because it's like a quick dash, to the finish line. But sometimes, you write for the garbage can, the more and more songs you write, the better you get at coming up with these like quick witty lines. And I love being able, it's just a creative process though. So I feel like if I'm writing the songs that I personally want to hear in the world, and I feel like other people are like me in the world somewhere. So I'm just trying to find those people.
No, I like that. I know in stand-up, the advice was always tell the one story that hasn't been told, which is yours. Deliver jokes that you think are funny, because you got to sell it. You're the one up there selling it, right? So if you don't believe in it, like, who is? So don't go up there thinking like, ooh, they'll like this, so let me do this. No, I mean,
that never works.
I like this, and I think they're gonna like that, and you go out and prove that.
And when you have conviction, right? When you have that conviction, and you ever see a performer, and it doesn't even matter what kind of performer they are, but if they don't have confidence, or they're like, well, I don't know, I guess I'll play this song. And don't get me wrong, I have been guilty of doing all those types of things where people, people want you to win. When you go on stage, they want you to succeed. So, or I still have to tell myself after performing for like over 20 years that, now more than that. I mean, I've been performing since I'm a little kid, but I have to say, wait, no, don't show your mistakes. Nobody knows that you made a mistake. So I'm still telling myself that, because I'm like, oh, I made a mistake. Haha. I'm like, there's like this, I have like a comedy part in my brain where I'm like, oh, funny job, Amanda, way to go. But so I literally have to tell myself, no, don't do that. Don't, because I think that in comedy, you can, it depends if it's so funny or something happens where, then you can point it out. But if it's just a little flub, over the years, I've really had to tell myself, wait a minute, get it together. Nobody knows.
Yeah, no, that is true. We're much more hyper aware of the flubs than the audience. But I think this is a good time to transition into the main theme of the show, disappointment inspired. And I do believe creative people are able to use their disappointment, and they also experience, maybe you can make the argument that they experience maybe more than the average amount of disappointment, and it gives rise to the desire to create something and do something with that. So share with us maybe some disappointments you've had and what they've given rise to.
Well, I can think of the biggest disappointment off the top of my head, where I had done a crowdfunding campaign for my album, and I did it through this company called Pledge Music. And I guess the people at Pledge Music were taking all the money that was coming in from that people were crowdfunding, and they spent it, and then they went bankrupt. So I was out thousands and thousands of dollars. I think total by the end of it, with all the artists together, it was over $3 million. Wow. Yeah. So collectively. So there was a lot of artists who, I needed that money. I didn't have the money. The reason I did a crowdfunding campaign was because I needed the money to make, because making records recording is really expensive. And
can you give us an idea of how expensive? If you pause
sure,
there a second,
yeah.
for students who might be curious.
Sure. I mean, well, the record that every album is different. And for me, I was doing a fully produced with a full band, sometimes string players, sometimes horn players, backup singers. There was a lot involved. And so for me, the record, I think by the end cost me like $15,000. So now things don't cost me that much because I have a lot of things more at my fingertips than I did, say 5-6 years ago. But this was like my launching pad. Like this was going to be it. This was going to be the thing that was really going to put me on the map. And so that was a roadblock. Then I had to, but because I'm such a nerd, I found I designed my website. So for those of you who are also fellow nerds, hello, I use WordPress to design my website. And I found a plugin that was a crowdfunding plugin. So I re-raised the money that I lost out on, but still, like, I didn't really count for how much mailing everything out was going to be. So I was still like kind of underwater. And but I believed in this record so much, and so much work had gone into it, that I had to make sure that it finally got out to the world. So, but I mean, really, it was really disappointing especially when the blow of, oh, hey, you're not getting this other $5,000 that you need for this record. So it just, I was down and out. I was like depressed about it because I felt like I failed my supporters, and that I chose the wrong platform, and that I was heartbroken. I just was completely heartbroken. And so, and it had already taken so much to get to the point of that. It was so much to create the crowdfunding campaign, like the marketing of that. And it just took so much effort. And then it was just such a slap in the face. So really in the end, when all was said and done and I had mailed out all the packages, I re-raised the money. I mailed out all the packages, but it was just still, I felt like still really sad and traumatized about it. So, I mean, basically I won't be doing anything where there's a platform that's going to get in the way of me and my money. There's no way, whether it's Patreon, like people love Patreon. I have friends who do it, but I'm never having a company ever be between me and the money that I make. So then I was still kind of really sad. And I had a friend say to me, you know what, you are depriving people by not putting this music out. It's just sitting on CDs. It's just sitting on your hard drive. Like you just got to put it out. And when he said that, I'm like, wow, I'm depriving people from hearing my music. It was such like a great perspective to be shoved into my face. And then after that, I started putting out a lot of singles from the record on Spotify. And that was a big journey. Actually, from that disappointment, I started a live streaming show that I did for 2 years. I started live streaming before it was cool, before the pandemic. And then a lot of good came out of that because I kind of got over the perfection of, like, as a creative, right? A lot of us have this perfectionism, like this has to be so good and so perfect. And then in the end, you realize, well, no matter what I put out, there's always going to be that one thing I don't like about it. And over the years, because of the pandemic too, I mean, how much talk about, that's like the ultimate disappointment, right? Where you're like, okay, I have to do something. I have to create, I have to put something out in the world. So I had all this material and I was putting out singles, and every single month I had to find a way to make the artwork, which I was trying to make cool single artwork for Spotify. And a lot of times I would just be like, all right, I guess this is good enough. Hey, Mia, what's up?
Hello. Welcome.
Hey.
Welcome.
Hey, friends, what's up?
Thanks for joining. Did the link not get sent over? Or something come up?
Just completely forgot to check my email.
Oh, that's all right.
I'm late from the kitchen. We made empanadas.
Oh, thank you.
Jealous.
I was hungry.
Yeah.
Well, let me reintroduce my guest, musician, talented videographer, Amanda Duncan, talking about the creative process of writing music. And I have to say, man, I really relate to the point you just made, because Amanda had created an album and was using like a crowdsourcing company to raise money, right? Am I getting this fun?
Yep, yeah.
Fundraise. And then the company went away and had a big kind of scandal. They disappeared, and so did the money. And ultimately, Amanda had to re-raise the money and was kind of stuck. The disappointment had her stuck. And I totally relate to it, because when the pandemic hit me, I was like in this, people were saying to me, oh, you'll just transition to Zoom. And I'm like, what? Like, I was just immediately annoyed at this flippant, like, you'll just do it online. Like, and I didn't want to, and I wasn't going to hear it. And I was stuck in the mud. And Amanda, sounds like you were stuck in the mud too. So someone said, hey, you're depriving the world of this music. It's sitting on your computer. Do something with this. And you said, all right, I'm gonna get unstuck here. And you went out and produced. And I know Keanu, you're a musician, actor, among us. You've joined us before. So any questions for the musician in residence here today, Amanda Duncan? Anything comes to your mind you want to ask?
Well, can I ask questions? Like, what kind of music are you making?
I've been doing like a whole lot of different, like, just pop genre type things.
Awesome.
So, a lot of upbeat type songs. Sometimes I do like a sad song every now and then, but it's usually like maybe like rock, if anything.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, I genre hop a lot too. So it's kind of, I'm not going to be nailed down with any genre. So if I feel inspired, if I'm going to listen to, like, I don't know, like a Aretha Franklin song, I'm going to tell myself, well, I'm going to mix it all in with everything else that I do. And no, it's, you're kind of like, what they call it, steal like an artist. There's a book called Steal Like an Artist. And it's like a little like coffee table book. It's such an easy read. And like basically it's like just trying to find inspiration from different things in life, and as long as you put your own twist on it, you're allowed to steal it. Like you know, it's not plagiarism, right? Like you're just kind of finding this idea and then you're kind of like, you know, putting in the blender and you know, making a nice like, you know, Dole Whip, I don't know, whatever you would want to put in a blender.
Yeah.
And
Now,
drink.
Amanda did bring her guitar with us, and I don't know.
Oh no, you
her,
put me on the spot here.
to play a line or two, not a whole song, but just like a sample, so the students who are joining us can appreciate your skill. Because I think for those of us who are not musicians, Amanda, it really blows me away the amount of skill that goes into performing, singing, just like how to put it all together. I can understand maybe playing a guitar, but to sing and play a guitar at the same time, like cognitively, that's a heavy load.
I'm just gonna tune my guitar real quick.
Yeah, that's fine. The tuning amazes me. Like if people who like know what they're doing, they're gonna tune up. As we're joined by Brittany and maybe some others as well from the Mercer County Tech crew. We have Amanda Duncan here, Brittany, who's tuning her guitar and talking about music and creating music and writing. Welcome. Last episode, Brittany was sharing with us some funny stuff she wanted to do as a stand-up comic. Brittany's a very funny person with an interesting background. And, today, you know, we're on the creative path again, talking music and songwriting. And Amanda's been wonderful enough to join us here and share. You've been doing music over 20 years, right, Amanda?
Hold on, I'm twisted up.
Took out the headphone.
Okay. I was trying to get my reverb to work. You hear me now?
Oh, we hear it. Yeah, we hear it.
Oh, there is reverb?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay.
It's an echoey sound. Is that what you intended?
Maybe more. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right. So this is a tune that I saw a friend of mine play this show. It was at the Asbury Lanes, which is like a venue where they have bowling, and then in the middle there's a stage, and it's like such. You think it'd be like so weird, but it was like awesome. And she was playing this song, her and her band, and people were like swing dancing to it. And I said, "Whoa, I have to write a song that people dance that dance to my music." So this song is what came out of that, and. Let's see. Am I awake enough for this? Let's see how we go. This is, guys, it's before noon. You got to cut me some slack.
Hey, they're eating lunch, Amanda, so they know about
All
you.
right, perfect. Okay, I think I got it. Every night my mama told me be home by supper time. Deep fried chicken and apple pie, that sure will suit me fine. Put on my fancy party dress, comb my hair, can't look a mess. Takes a little longer than you might guess to shine my shoes and go. Don't you feel like dancing? Don't you feel like dancing? Don't you feel like dancing with a girl like me? Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Can you hear the guitar all right?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm at the party shaking what I got. Ain't nothing gonna stop me now. The two-step Charleston, get in line. Come on, I'll show you how. I'm cutting up a rug with my own 2 feet, swinging my hips, breaking down to the beat. I'm the kind of girl that you like to meet, so take me for a whirl. Don't you feel like dancing? Don't you feel like dancing? Don't you feel like dancing with a girl like me? Do 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 do. This is where you dance on the table at the lunch. Oh yeah, I see you. Do 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 do. Don't you feel like dancing? Don't you feel like dancing? Don't you feel like dancing with a girl like me? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Do 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 do. Thank you, everybody.
That was amazing.
So Amanda, did you ever play this in Asbury at that bowling alley?
Yes, I did. Many years ago. And it's funny because that company, well, they actually kind of redid the entire place. So it's not the same gross vibe it was. The grossness was kind of part of it. but yeah, now it's like a really swanky place. It's still called Asbury Lanes though. But yeah, I mean, that song is one of my favorite songs to play. It's short and sweet and goes down smooth. And I just feel like it feels, part of my goal with my music is to bring joy into people's lives. And so I just, I want to, don't get me wrong. I have thoughts. I have deep thoughts in life, right? And I do have things that I want to express and make sure that people understand that, important things about life and treating people well. But I mostly my songs are pretty upbeat. So when you were talking about how you're writing tunes that are upbeat, that's definitely what I try to do.
I find it fascinating, the story about you walking into the bowling alley, seeing that it's kind of the setup looks harsh, right? It's like,
it's so weird.
Almost as a performer in comedy, you call these hell gigs, like certain gigs where you're like, oh my God, there's no way you could do well. You're set up.
Yeah.
Poorly. And then you see someone do well, right? And like that person you described, people are dancing to that music and it's inspiring, right? Because it's like, wait, this is supposed to be a terrible gig, but this person's positivity and energy and sound has lifted the room. They're so good, it overcomes the elements. And I want to be that person, right? I mean, that's inspiring right there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you think that, people are bowling and you're thinking it's going to be loud and crazy. And it was just part of it.
Yeah. In Mercer County Tech, I have to be honest with you guys. I've been speaking there for, gosh, can't even count how many years. And every time I would come to speak live, I would always say there's a little bit of misery and a little bit of magic. And you know what I'm talking about. There's always like one or two kids. They don't want to be there. They're looking at you like you made them come. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm just here to kind of speak and motivate. And they give you this like they have this look like they want to fight
Your school asked me to come here. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I'm so sorry. I'm here today. And then there's like a few kids that are so incredible. And I think the students joining us on this call are examples of that. But they literally like blow me away. Like I leave thinking about them, things they say move me. Sometimes they overcome challenges that put me in awe, right? And so that's what I love about doing this work. You never know, what you're getting into. Sometimes it's like it looks bad. I've been in juvenile detention centers where you think, oh my gosh, I'm going down. Like, this is gonna be horrible. They're gonna hate me. And then it goes well, and you walk out floating on air. I imagine when you performed at the bowling alley, if it went well, you left feeling like, whoa, I did that.
Yeah. I mean, there's always those moments in life where you're thinking, well, here we go. I guess this is going to be what it's going to be. And then you walk out and you're like, whoa, this is amazing. But you always try to, but also, I mean, part of it too is when you do have those performances or any situation in your creativity, you're trying to express yourself. I think what I've tried to do over the years is I've really tried to just have fun by myself. If somebody isn't going to care or pay attention, I might as well have a good time up there. So that's been a big lesson for me, because if I'm having a good time and someone, it does pass by and they're like, oh, wow, that girl looks like she's having a lot of fun. That's it. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine with me. But I'm not always doing this for the audience. I'm doing this I could have fun in a brown paper bag. I'm I'm an easy audience when it comes to entertainment. I can have fun with like, oh, very easily. So if you're going to put me on stage with my guitar, like, yes, like I think that part of it too is you're exuding that energy. So when you're exuding all that energy and you're getting none back, you are usually pretty tired after a show like that. But you win some, you lose some. It's not. Yeah. And then you find ways. It's like, all right, how can I not play shows like that? How can I get better? How can I find a way to up the level of where I am in my career to not feel that way anymore?
Yeah, I call it working harder than they are. Right. Yeah. When you feel like you're putting in more than you're getting back, and you want to find audiences that are more appreciative. And this is a good time to ask our assembled audience any questions you have at this point about music, writing, performing, finishing lunch. What do you think? Questions you might have. We'll take this moment. You can unmute and share with us.
How do you get yourself out there? You know, like how did you like
yeah. I think that's a good question. And I know this is going to sound weird, but I also really, really love marketing. I'm a creative nerd. I'm a techie nerd. And I'm like a marketing nerd. So I think the best advice that I could give you is currently to start doing TikToks and reels of your music in a way that brings you joy, not like stress, like, oh my God, I have to do all these like TikToks and like I have to make sure like they're the best thing ever and that they're the most incredible. I think that start finding a way to make it engaging in a way that people would want to interact with it. So I know that's like kind of hard, but also, I mean, if people write comments, write them back. I think it's so funny when I see people that want attention in any way, shape, or form for what they do, and all these people will comment on them and they won't respond. You can't get anywhere without a community of people supporting you. So you have to write people back. Also, celebrate other people who are trying to do the same thing. I think that jealousy and envy and all that stuff, I think it's easy too. It's like, look at this person, they made a TikTok and now they're famous and they have a $3 million house, and you're like, like I think that we kind of live in that world. It's like, well, if I make a TikTok, I can live in that $3 million house. And it's like, well, I mean, who knows what will happen to that person next year, right? Like if they're not like, I think, what is it the saying that luck is when hard work meets opportunity, right? Yeah. So something along those lines. So I think I would just try to write and record as much as you can. Try to find ways to make your music sound more professional, as far as like I don't know if you know anything about mixing, but if you can start learning more things about the mixing process, that is a super, super important part of like whatever you're making. Because if like you ever like watch, okay, for instance, if you're watching a video of any kind, if the audio's bad, you're like, I'm out, right? So I think that you really have to concentrate on having like decent quality audio, and like stuff is so affordable these days. Like you can get a little tiny recording device and make really amazing things. And but just putting out what you have. And then later on, I know it sounds funny, but if you ever have anybody who would like to give you any kind of funds for advertising on TikTok and Instagram, I know it sounds funny, but it cuts through the noise, where if you are able to have any kind of ad budget and in any way, and there's proper ways to not waste a lot of money doing that, but that to me is like a surefire way. But I mean, it does, you do need the money. And I know in high school, I never had any money. So, but I think that just like loving what you do, keep creating, keep putting the stuff out, and celebrating the wins of other people that are around you. Like if you have like other musicians in town or other people that, I think that what's funny is you have to remember that You got to be nice to people along the way, because let's say like there's this person making music and they're not that good. We all know that person. It's like, oh, like good job, right? But they're not amazing, right? And sometimes I'm sure I was that person for a very, very long time. Sometimes you just have to work to get better. But sometimes those people stop making music and then they start booking venues. And then so you have to, I think that if you work on being, it sounds so cheesy, but being the best version of yourself and being the person, like when you go to a venue or you're going somewhere that to perform or just anywhere, like, some people like, they have like basement shows, whatever. When you walk into, and I think this kind of could be applied across life, not just in creativity, but if you are the person when you walk in the room and everybody's like, hey, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to see you. Be that musician, be that creative person, be that person. Like if you're in the musical or whatever you're doing at school, if you walk into the room and people are like, hey, I'm happy to see you, you're going to have a long career no matter what you do.
That's some sage advice. I mean, I think that one of the best things for me creatively is having positive people around me who want to contribute to the fun, right? Who want to go along with you, right? It's the negative people that like kill the creativity, right? You just feel yourself stopping. So when you surround yourself with friends who are building you up too, it makes you want to keep trying stuff and put yourself out there. Any other questions, students, about music, actually, the music industry?
What's your favorite song?
What's my favorite song? Whew. Let me think. Is it off the top of my head?
What's your favorite song? Let's start there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean,
you got?
Yeah, what's your favorite song currently?
Give us a YouTuber I've never heard of, but what do you got?
We're muted.
No, I hear you.
What's your favorite song?
I don't know.
Isn't that hard, right?
Tough.
Okay, what's your favorite artist? Like, how about your favorite artist? Wait, we'll say that one more time.
Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny.
Oh, okay. They're touring right now, right?
Oh.
No money. What's it?
I just watch the YouTube clips.
Yeah.
I think that it's funny. I think that currently my favorite band is they're called Lake Street Dive, and they're kind of similar to what I kind of played just before. They're kind of like a band where it's actually now it's 5 people and they sing all like 5-part harmony, and it's so good. But that's currently Lake Street Dive.
When you were in high school, Amanda, who was your favorite in high school?
Oh, I had terrible taste in high school. It's funny. That's when I started playing guitar. So I really was listening to like a lot of guitar based music. So like just like real folky stuff, or like I don't even know. You guys probably wouldn't even know. I'm just trying to think of like Santana and like stuff,
I thought you'd say this. You were from the Jersey Shore, right?
Yeah. No Bon Jovi, no Bruce Springsteen. No.
No Springsteen, no Bon Jovi, no Wanted Dead or Alive.
No, neither of those. But yeah, and but also I grew up listening to like 1950s swing music, like like all things like that, and then and then the 1940s. So like I loved it when music where they put one microphone in a room and they had to record a whole orchestra. So there's no auto tune. There was just like, all right, I guess we got to be really good. So everyone had to be a really tight band. I love music like that.
I think music really speaks to your emotion at the time, right? The kind of music you're into, what's happening internally can often be shown, through the music you listen to. How students here who are listening, do you have any music that really that you think reflects who you are or how you feel about the world? Brittany, you nodded your head. You want to share with us?
I mean, there is this one song I really like. It is like sort of a little bit about me.
Yeah, what is it? What's the song? Can you tell us?
um,
You don't have to.
Brittany's like, it's
No, it's fine.
It's okay,
And
Brittany.
sometimes that's just for us, right? That song is like just for us. Like nobody needs to know about it. And that's what's so incredible about music and art and everything. It's like those moments can be for us. Like we don't have to tell anybody about it. It's like when you listen to that song so many times where you're like, I don't even know where the song begins and ends. That's how many times I've listened to it. Now, actually, you brought up before, Matt, when people don't believe in you, and we had talked about this actually before we started recording, but there's been so many times in my life where I've had to just believe in what I believe in myself. And I know not everybody has that, right? Like not everybody has that internal, like, oh no, I'm going to do this. Get out of my way. Cause that's how I feel. That's how I feel a lot of times where it's like, oh no, like this is what I want to do. I want to bring joy with my music and I am going to just keep doing it. And I definitely have had people in my life where they're like, whatever, like you can tell they think it's like some kind of ridiculous pipe dream and they think it's silly and I'm never going to achieve it. And I've really had to learn over the years where I really had to just tell myself, nope, I believe in myself and I don't need anyone's permission to believe in myself. And I think that's the biggest lesson of all. It's like, it's like, oh wait, like you don't think my jokes are funny? Well, I don't need you to believe that my jokes are funny because I'm just going to keep getting better. And then you will. And like, I just use that kind of like to fuel me to get better. It's like, all right, well, that's okay. Like you don't, and also like my music isn't for everybody either. So maybe, that's fine, but it is for somebody.
Yeah. And I love what you're saying too, because in high school, I find that there's a lot of impulsive things thrown about, right? When someone puts something out there, they sing a song or tell a joke. Maybe it's this day and age too with Twitter and everything else, but people are so quick to want to kind of shout out like not good or put you down. And so learning that lesson early on, it's just vital to keep going, right? Because you're going to face that as a creative person. Maybe the most when you're starting out, you face it because you're vulnerable. You're looking for feedback. Right. And when you're young and you're around impulsive young people who might yell this negativity out at you. So it sounds like you have to have, I don't want to say thick skin, but it's more like just a belief in yourself to keep going.
I think that if you have that, and if that's something where you're like, you know what, I feel like I'm not believing in myself as much as I could. If you're like, I think just to kind of know, it's like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much do I believe in myself right now? If you can ask that question
9.
throughout, what?
9.
9. Right. So there you go.
Well, our work is done here. I mean,
but here's the thing, that will fluctuate, right? There'll be some days where you're, like, but then maybe for an hour it fluctuates. And then you're like, wait a minute. No, this is what I'm doing. And I think that, but some people again, don't have that in them all the time. So I think it's like, all right, well, if I'm a 5, right? If I'm always a 5 feeling this way, what can I do to be proactive to make that number get bigger over time? And I think that's like, and again, this applies not just to music. It's just everything in life. It's just, how can I make myself feel better about where I am? It's like, all right, if you're being proactive about, and it's okay to be down in the dumps for, a little while. But
when disappointment hits, I find when disappointment hits, that's when you get the lowest. You feel, even me, after all the years of speaking and doing this work, when there's a downtime, you just start producing the negative thoughts.
Oh yeah.
You can go from a 9 to a 5 to a 3, and you're just really down. And it's hard to get out of that rut. But if you remind yourself that, things will change. Just like they say in the movie Castaway, keep going because you don't know what the tide's going to bring in the next day. Next thing you know, you get a cool opportunity and things change. And we have 2 minutes left. So maybe, I don't know, Amanda, can you play us out on something? A little tune to uplift us on a Monday. What's that, Brittany?
Wrong, and only a few of us are still in cafeteria.
It's okay.
Yeah, so they're getting ready to go, but
no, that's
thank
okay.
you for joining us anyway.
Yeah, no.
Appreciate that. And what do you think, Amanda? We have a little tune to take us out on a Monday?
Sure. As you guys, I know you'll have to leave when I'm in the middle of this. It's really okay. I'll take no offense.
We'll switch the view here to speaker view and look at Amanda.
Right. The song is called Bye, and keep writing your music. Just keep putting it out there. I know it may seem fruitless sometimes, but just make the music for yourself. Okay. All right. Let's see. Hopefully I remember how to play this. Wow, I really haven't been playing that much music lately. I've mostly been doing other creative things. This song is called Everybody Comes Around Here. Whoa, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa. You hear the music from downtown. Your body starts to move to the unfamiliar sound. Your feet start running towards that song. It may be miles away, but it won't take very long. Bye. It's waiting for you to arrive. So just come ahead, but you gotta be sorry. Everybody comes around here to feel the rhythm and soul. Everybody comes around here to get out of control. And I know that you've been waiting for the ride. The line's a little long, but you know that you're gonna have a real good time. Whoa, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa. How can you go back to that grind? When you start to think about it, you start to lose your mind. But you have to walk out of this door and tie up both the loose ends from the life you had before. We'll be waiting for you to return. So just go ahead, do what you gotta do. And if there's one thing that you've learned, it's that everybody comes around here to feel the rhythm and soul. Everybody comes around here to get out of control. And I know that you've been waiting for the ride. The line's a little long, but you know that you're gonna have a real good time. Oh, and when you wait, that honky-tonk band will play. So don't be taking so long. Knock, knock, knocking on the door. What I tell you, baby, everybody comes around here to feel the rhythm and soul. Everybody comes around here to get out of control. And I know that you've been waiting for the ride. The line's a little long, but you know, the line's a little long, but you know that you're gonna have a really good time. Whoa, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa. Whoa, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa. Live from my couch. Have a great rest of your week.
I wish
Amanda, thank you, Amanda. That's my favorite song of yours, by the way, Amanda.
Oh, really? Cool.
I love that song. And where can people find you for the recording? Anyone who's watching this, where can they go?
I'm on Spotify, Apple Music. A lot of my stuff's all up on YouTube. So if you don't have any of those services, you can just give that a listen.
Awesome. Do you laugh to that last song in the recording?
Yeah, no,
I
I played that.
Us?
I haven't played this song probably in 6 months. So I was like, that was a completely wrong chord.
Really? I didn't notice.
Yeah.
See, I didn't
Well,
notice.
see, I should have shut up about it, right?
Didn't know.
Brittany, it was awesome. Thank you for bringing me down the hallway. I really appreciate it.
You're in math class now.
Well, enjoy math.
Brittany's the best. Thank you, Brittany.
Thanks.
I'm gonna stop.